Thank you, everyone, so much for joining. We're still letting others join the meeting. We'll go ahead and get started in the next few minutes. Hello, everyone. We are going to get started here shortly.
Before we begin, we would like to go over some general housekeeping and tech support tips to ensure you're getting the most from your webinar experience. All participants are muted for the duration of the webinar. This webinar is available to stream via your computer or phone. You can select the audio input using the audio settings tool at the bottom left-hand corner. Use the expand button in the top right-hand corner to enter or exit full screen. Exit full screen to see the chat on the right side of the screen. Use the chat feature to receive the links and resource information from the panelists. You can utilize the raise hand feature if you have a technical issue, and our support will reach out to you individually. Select the Q&A panel to ask questions during the presentation. You may receive an answer to your question in the Q&A box, or your question may be answered live by our presenters at the end of the presentation. Please do not put questions for the presenters in the chat. They may be missed by our team. Please do not put personal information such as emails, address, phone number, or home address in the chat or in the Q&A box. A survey will be provided after the closing of the Zoom meeting where you can share your contact information with our recruitment team. We are recording this event, so let's start the recording and turn it over to our presenters.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Caleb Torres.
And my name is Courtney Coleman.
And we are on the recruitment team here at AmeriCorps. Today, we are sharing about the ways service can help improve mental health, well-being, and the ways your service can allow you to improve the mental well-being of others. We are excited to showcase our Public Health AmeriCorps program, share more about our service opportunities, and get you started on your AmeriCorps journey.
Let's take a look at our agenda for our webinar today. We'll begin our presentation by sharing more about AmeriCorps and what we do. We'll cover some of the benefits of service and how a service year can help you connect with your community, build new friendships, and give back to causes you care about. We also have some special guests with us today. Leaders and members from our Public Health AmeriCorps program, Health 360, are here to share about their program, the impactful work they are doing, and the ways that you can join their program today. We will also have time for questions at the end for our presenters, so please put any questions you have for our team as well as the Health 360 team into the Q&A box. Just a reminder, please do not put questions in the chat as they may get lost. Thank you again for joining us, and let's go ahead and get started.
So what is AmeriCorps? AmeriCorps is the federal agency for volunteering and national service in the United States. We provide opportunities for American adults of all ages and backgrounds to give their time and talent to get things done for their communities. And no matter what you're passionate about, where you're from, or why you choose to serve, AmeriCorps is your opportunity to bring the best out of America, as well as learn new skills meet new people, and gain valuable professional experiences.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And as we close out this month, we want to take a moment to reflect on what some are calling an epidemic of loneliness, where our nation is currently and how service can help. Feelings of loneliness and isolation can be a major cause of mental health issues in Americans of all ages. Though many individuals have returned to their lives as they were before the COVID-19 pandemic, we may still be feeling the effects of the shutdowns, the loss of community, and the changed experiences during the last 3 years. Young adults may still be facing feelings of loneliness from school closures and online learning. After spending so much time online and away from peers, it may feel difficult to move back into person spaces and create and build friendships. Young adults may also be used to forms of connections and engaging with others online. While this may help ease some of the feelings of loneliness, it can still feel difficult to create meaningful friendships and find support. Older adults may also be facing feelings of loneliness and isolation. Even before the pandemic, things like retirement and other major life changes caused older adults and seniors to feel lonely. The risks and challenges of the pandemic further exacerbated these issues.
Finding community and creating new connections can be a great step for individuals of all ages to help overcome these feelings. And one way you can do this is through service. Volunteering can have a positive impact on mental and physical health. AmeriCorps offers service opportunities for American adults of all ages in many different interest areas. Let's talk about a few of our AmeriCorps programs and the benefits they offer to help improve mental health and well-being.
Our AmeriCorps Seniors Program is a great opportunity for Americans 55 years and older, giving them the opportunity to engage in volunteer service. Seniors may experience greater feelings of loneliness and isolation. It can be difficult to create new friendships and build connection after retirement or other major life changes that face older adults. Volunteering can have a positive impact on mental and physical health. AmeriCorps senior volunteers experience decreased anxiety and depression and loneliness. 84% of volunteers report stable or improved health after 1 year of service. Building new connections with others and being a part of something bigger can help fight feelings of isolation and loneliness. 88% of volunteers who felt a lack of companionship reported feeling fewer feelings of isolation after becoming an AmeriCorps Seniors volunteer. Our AmeriCorps Seniors program also helps older adults continue to learn new skills and work on self-improvement. AmeriCorps Seniors volunteers often tap their wealth of experience and wisdom and challenge it in new directions. Older adults can choose from 3 service programs: the Foster Grandparent Program, the RSVP Program, and the Senior Companion Program. All 3 programs cover a range of interests and service projects, giving AmeriCorps Seniors volunteers the opportunity to choose the service that they are interested in and help them continue to build new relationships and pass on skills to the next generation.
The AmeriCorps State and National Network makes up most of our service opportunities. Interested applicants can select from thousands of organizations that see service as a solution to local, regional, and national challenges. Finding local opportunities can be a great first step. Our state and national program has service locations in nearly every state and U.S. territory. A service experience in your own community can provide you with the opportunity to meet new people and make an impact in your own backyard. For those who may be looking for a change of scenery, finding a service opportunity in a new city or state can help you build new friendships, explore new places, and create meaningful change in a new community. Giving back to causes you care about can also help improve your own mental well-being. Our AmeriCorps State and National program has thousands of different service projects covering a wide variety of focus areas. We have members serving in the classroom through programs like Teach for America, giving members the ability to help students achieve their academic goals. And for some, serving in the outdoors, building gardens, or working in parks and on trails may be personally fulfilling while also caring for the earth and environment. Other service opportunities may include working with animals, helping families and small children, or spending time with veterans. No matter what you're passionate about, there is a service opportunity for you. Spending time focusing on your passions and helping others can help you find purpose, create meaning, and see the direct impact your work has on others. You may also create new friendships with those you're serving with. Our AmeriCorps state and national programs also offer different service lengths and time commitments. You can find the opportunity that is right for you. Having flexibility and being able to fit service into your life can make helping others more accessible. In addition to the mental health and social benefits service with AmeriCorps offers, you'll also receive a living allowance, earn an education award, receive technical and soft skills training, and have access to professional opportunities following your term of service. AmeriCorps state and national opportunities are open to adults of all ages and backgrounds. It can help you launch a career, gain skills needed to enter a new field, or simply give back and feed your passions.
One of our newest AmeriCorps state and national programs is Public Health AmeriCorps. We have partnered with the CDC to create this unique opportunity for those interested in serving in the field of public health. Public Health AmeriCorps helps meet the public health needs of local communities and provides pathways to quality public health related careers through on-site experience and training. There are a wide range of project areas that members may focus on, including health equity, behavioral health, and reducing barriers to care. The COVID-19 pandemic intensified existing challenges in our country and highlighted the need for more people to pursue careers in public health. Public Health AmeriCorps provides a valuable opportunity to engage new communities and individuals in public health. Adults of all ages and educational backgrounds are eligible to serve with AmeriCorps Public Health. Our Public Health AmeriCorps program offers many of the same benefits of connection and community and giving back offered by our other AmeriCorps state and national programs, with the added benefit of doing important public health work to improve the lives of others. Many of our Public Health AmeriCorps programs are doing important work within the mental health space. Today, we have a leader and a member from one of our incredible Public Health AmeriCorps programs, Health 360, to share about the impactful work they are doing in this field. At this time, we would love to turn it over to our guests for introductions and more information about their program.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having us. I think what I'll do is I'll start with my introduction, and I have some slides to go through, and then I will pass over to Lucy Jaddo. So good afternoon. My name is Celia Meyer. I'm the Healthy Minds Alliance Director at Health 360, a national nonprofit organization focused on health equity. As I stated, I'm joined by Lucy Jaddo, a current AmeriCorps member serving with Healthy Minds Alliance. And first, our team wants to thank AmeriCorps for giving us the opportunity to present on the good work of Healthy Minds Alliance, especially during Mental Health Awareness Month. We're really honored to be spotlighted. I will take some time to introduce you all to the Healthy Minds Alliance Public Health AmeriCorps program, a little bit about what an AmeriCorps service experience looks like, really from the 30,000-foot view, as well as the application and interview process, and then share with you the benefits offered. I'm really grateful to be joined by Lucy, one of our amazing AmeriCorps members who's currently serving at a crisis call center. Lucy will provide some insight into what an AmeriCorps member experience looks like with the Healthy Minds Alliance. If there are any additional questions after this presentation, please feel free to reach out to me directly. My email is up on the screen there, meyer@health360.org. Next slide, please. Health 360 developed the Healthy Minds Alliance program about 10 years ago now, really through that AmeriCorps state and national program that was presented earlier. Healthy Minds Alliance is a community-based approach to the mental health crisis, utilizing evidence-based and evidence-informed programs with AmeriCorps members placed all across the country. Through Healthy Minds Alliance, Health 360 really pioneered the application of AmeriCorps resources addressing mental health needs at the local level. Our longstanding program, which we refer to as our legacy program, places full-time AmeriCorps members at organizations nationwide, providing community mental health education. That's everything from mental health awareness, stigma reduction, and specific suicide prevention programming. Our program attracts individuals interested in building out their health and mental health experience, potentially changing careers, looking to gain hands-on professional experience in the mental health field, and also potentially building out their resume for applications towards graduate school, medical school, and health professions schools. We also have program alumni that remain at their placement sites, transitioning into employment after their service term. With that historical perspective, I want to introduce you to the new partnership Health 360 has with crisis call centers nationwide. In May of 2022, Healthy Minds Alliance launched a new partnership with crisis call centers in response to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline 1-800 number shifting to 988 in July of last year. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides free and confidential emotional support to people in suicidal crisis or emotional distress 24 hours a day, 7 days a week across the U.S. The Lifeline is comprised of a national network of over 200 local crisis centers. Our organization, Health 360, was tapped to provide AmeriCorps expertise in supporting the 988 rollout, addressing capacity issues at crisis centers. This new focused AmeriCorps programming is made possible through the partnership between AmeriCorps and the CDC, Public Health AmeriCorps. Health 360 works closely not only with AmeriCorps, but also with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and Vibrant Emotional Health, which is the federally funded administrator for 988, in order to make this program possible. This pilot program is a continued effort to provide a robust professional development opportunity for individuals interested in pursuing the mental health field, with a continued focus on building out the mental health workforce pipeline, short-term and long-term. Next slide, please. The Healthy Minds Alliance Public Health AmeriCorps program offers 2 placement types at crisis call centers. So we offer full-time member service options. That's 40 hours a week for 10 months, a total of 1,700 hours of service for successful completion. We also offer a part-time position. That's members serving 20 hours a week for 10 months, a total of 900 hours towards successful completion. Whether full-time or part-time, all of our members always serve a 10-month service term at the crisis call centers. AmeriCorps member placements can look different depending on the crisis call centers. That could be varying from in-person, 100% remote, or a hybrid service. That placement type is determined by the need and the structure of the crisis call center that we're working with. We also work really closely with the crisis call centers to determine AmeriCorps applicant eligibility requirements, whether that's a high school degree, bachelor's, or sometimes master's level, also potentially language requirements, and determining level of professional experience required. That all varies center to center. The primary focus of the Healthy Minds Alliance Public Health AmeriCorps members is being trained and appropriately supported to answer calls, texts, and chats coming into the crisis call center. That includes site supervisor meetings, debrief, and additional built-out supports. Other service activities can include building capacity at the center to recruit, onboard, and train other volunteers, providing an outreach and awareness to local communities to educate about 988, assisting with evaluation and building evidence around services provided, and any other mental health related activities that are appropriate for the Healthy Minds Alliance AmeriCorps service model. Next slide, please. Health 360 has a team of staff working diligently on AmeriCorps member recruitment so that we're able to provide crisis call centers with vetted applicants for consideration. Health 360 is constantly recruiting in general on a national level for those that might be interested in serving with our program. But we also recruit locally for site-specific placements. We always have site-specific listings on the AmeriCorps portal. If you search by the name Healthy Minds Alliance in the AmeriCorps portal, you can find our site-specific locations that are currently recruiting. We also have the position description and contact information for our staff on our website, which is health360.org for any interested applicants. And we can provide you with a list of locations currently placing members. Our staff at Health 360 handles the recruitment of applicants, and we conduct all first round interviews to develop a pool of qualified applicants for centers to interview. We work really closely with our crisis call centers to identify specific placement types, which I mentioned: in-person, hybrid, remote, the education and experience requirements. Some have shift requirements and any other important details. Our team at Health 360 vets applicants to ensure they meet the call center requirements, and then we hand off AmeriCorps applicants to crisis call centers to conduct second interviews. We really leave the center selection of the AmeriCorps members up to the centers, and they make the offers. Next slide, please. Healthy Minds Alliance Public Health AmeriCorps members receive benefits while serving. Member benefits include up to a $500 relocation expense reimbursement if applicants choose to move for an in-person service term. The AmeriCorps stipend is $18,000 for full-time members and $9,000 for part-time members. The stipend is paid out in equal payments biweekly over the course of the 10 months of service. Once successfully completing the term of service, AmeriCorps members have access to an education award in the amount of the current Pell Grant based on the number of hours served, which currently is $6,495 for full-time members and just over $3,200 for part-time members. After completing service, AmeriCorps alumni have up to 7 years to use that education award, either towards qualified educational expenses or to pay back federal student loans. If needed, full-time members are provided with health insurance coverage and child care assistance during their service term. And we also provide a member assistance program, which includes unlimited 24/7 free of charge access to counseling services via text, chat, and video, and 6 in-person counseling sessions free of charge to members. Health 360 also provides training and technical support throughout the service term. Health 360 really serves as the expert in all things AmeriCorps, and we allow crisis call centers to remain the expert in mental health services. So all of our AmeriCorps members are assigned an AmeriCorps specialist at Health 360 as their point of contact. We require the crisis call centers to designate a site supervisor, providing support to members during their service term. Between Health 360 and the crisis call center, all of our members are provided with orientation and training necessary, including the appropriate mental health intervention training from the crisis call center to answer calls, texts, and chats, and they provide any necessary ongoing training throughout the service term. All Healthy Minds Alliance Public Health AmeriCorps members also participate in monthly meetings with the rest of the AmeriCorps members across the country, really connecting with the Health 360 team on an ongoing basis. With all that being said, I hope I was able to answer some of the questions you might have had as an interested applicant, and that you're potentially still interested in serving with the Healthy Minds Alliance program. Again, please search for our program on the AmeriCorps portal, Healthy Minds Alliance, or go to our website, health360.org, for more information, or feel free to email me at meyer@health360.org. I would like to pass it over to Lucy Jaddo and thank her for joining us. I know your schedule is really busy. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk about your personal service experience. And with that, I will pass the mic.
All right. Thank you so much, Celia. Hello. My name is Lucy. As it says there, I am a current AmeriCorps Healthy Minds Alliance member. I'm currently serving a remote service term, and I'm about 8 months into a 10-month service term as we speak. So I'm just here today to talk a little bit about my background, a little bit about how I found my way to the field of mental health and also the Healthy Minds Alliance, and then a little bit about the interview, training, and onboarding process. And then I'll talk about what my service term looks like, so what it is that I actually do, and a little bit about the next step, so life after AmeriCorps. So a little bit about my background. I am based in Connecticut, where I am serving my remote service term. I graduated from Chapman University in Southern California in 2021 with a bachelor's in psychology. So there are a lot of different reasons that people might find themselves studying psychology. For me, it really came from a passion for supporting the emotional needs of my community at the individual level. So when I say my community, I really just mean fellow human beings. I know firsthand how challenging and complex the experience of like simply existing as a human being can be. And so I'm really interested in supporting people through navigating that experience. And at the individual level, obviously all work within the mental health field is not exclusively done at the individual level by any means, but personally, my interests and my skill sets are very well suited to the kind of one-on-one structure rather than working at like a group or like mass level. And I have found many opportunities within the field of mental health to work at this individual level, kind of in that one-to-one capacity. And not only to work at that level, but to really have an impact at the individual level. And so that is kind of what attracted me to the mental health field and what has kind of kept me here. And a few opportunities that I've been able to have within the field are doing things like peer-to-peer counseling when I was still in school, or something like behavioral therapy with individuals on the autism spectrum, or within the realm of hotline support. Those are all opportunities that I've had within the field of mental health that have felt rewarding, very impactful, and have kind of fit in with that passion for supporting my community at the individual level. And so I am looking ahead to a career in clinical psychology. So I'm hoping to pursue further education in the field. But after I graduated from undergrad, I was thinking about kind of what I want the next steps to look like. And I decided that I wanted to gain some really meaningful experience in the field before just diving right back into school. Next slide. Thank you. So in terms of why AmeriCorps, why the Healthy Minds Alliance? So as I was thinking about what kind of meaningful experience I wanted to gain in this time before pursuing further education, I enrolled in a mental health first aid training course in my home state of Connecticut. And there I met a person who was a current member of the Healthy Minds Alliance. And she was actually facilitating the training course as part of her service. And she told me all about the Healthy Minds Alliance and the program, and especially their newest program. This was back in July, right when their newer program was just getting off the ground, the partnership with the crisis call centers across the country to support the 988 suicide and crisis lifeline. And so I received the position description. I read a little bit more about it, and it really appealed to me personally and professionally. So I mentioned that I am interested in supporting my community, and thus far that's looked like supporting friends, supporting family, supporting peers at my school, supporting community members within my town and within my state. But this program with the Healthy Minds Alliance would really allow me to expand that support to the national level, which felt like a really unique experience to have a much broader reach while still operating within that one-on-one structure that works for me. Also, the program would allow me to gain direct experience with individuals navigating mental health crises. So exactly what I was looking for. If you have an interest in mental health topics, an interest in making an impact in general, but also specifically within the field of mental health, and or an interest in pursuing a career in the field of mental health, this program really offers the kind of direct experience that you might be looking for in a way that allows you to kind of be on the front lines. And that is something that I didn't really see possible within some of the other options that I was pursuing at the time. And again, I mentioned the one-on-one structure. I'll talk a little bit more about what it is that I actually do. But while I am able to serve at the national level, I am still, the position that I hold is very focused on the individual connection, personalizing your support to a single individual and what works best for them. So that was very appealing. And then lastly, the education award, which Celia talked a little bit about. As I said, I'm planning to pursue further education, so this was like an added bonus. So it was kind of a no-brainer to learn a little bit more about the program. I reached out to Jackie at Health 360, whose information was listed on the program description, and she told me a bit more about the program, and then set up an interview for me with Natalie at Health 360, who is now my AmeriCorps specialist. Shout out, Natalie. So I had my interview with Natalie. She told me a bit, or some of her questions had to do with, my experience working on a team, my experience working as an individual, how I might operate within a remote service environment, and also questions about my background and my interest in the mental health field. And then Natalie passed me along to a second round of interviews. And I then interviewed with Kelly at my potential host site placement. And Kelly is now my site supervisor. And so she interviewed me in a similar way. She dived a little bit deeper into really why I'm interested in the field of mental health and what I see is valuable about a suicide and crisis lifeline and things of that nature. And at the end of the interview, Kelly offered me a spot to serve out my national service on her team at Centerstone, which I'll talk a little bit more about. So to talk a little bit more about my host site and sort of the training and onboarding process. So Centerstone, Tennessee is my host site. It's a nonprofit health system providing mental health and substance use disorder treatments and services. And so they are based in Nashville, Tennessee, but again, I'm serving a remote term. So I serve from my home state of Connecticut with Centerstone, Tennessee. And my position there at Centerstone is a 988 chat and text crisis specialist. So 988 offers chat services, text services, as well as phone services. And I am just on the chat and text side of things. And so in preparation for this position, before I took any interactions, before I started out on the line, I received 40 hours of initial training with Centerstone staff. So this was 1 week of an asynchronous training course. So that meant that I had various units and modules to complete kind of on my own time. And then we would come together as a training group with our trainers, supervisors, for about 1 hour each day over Zoom to talk through any questions we had and go over any information that was necessary. And while this initial training did certainly cover the kinds of skills that we would be using in this position, it also provided just kind of a general foundation for any professional serving the public, providing consistent quality care to any and every person with which we interact. So that looked like HIPAA privacy modules, just covering, confidentiality and the kind of laws around that, and then also non-discrimination and cultural competence, which are very important in this kind of a position, as well as things like stress management strategies for behavioral health professionals and things like that. So at the end of this training week, I had a role play with a supervisor, wherein the supervisor was playing the role of a mock visitor to the line, and I was obviously playing the role of the crisis specialist. And so that really allowed us to go through the entire process of a conversation or an interaction from start to finish, and really get to put those skills that we learned in training into practice, which was very helpful. And at the end of this role play, once I passed the role play, I was able to begin. So I was placed on the line and began taking interactions right away. And then a little bit down the line in my service term, I was enrolled in an official 988 training course. And this came directly down from the 988 organization themselves. And it was a requirement for everyone on the crisis team at Centerstone. It was 4 units consisting of fundamentals of crisis counseling, essential skills in crisis counseling, assessing safety and risk, and crisis conversations on chat and text. And I found this to be an exceedingly thorough training course and really essential in my skills development as I've been working through my service term. It's also very helpful because it's something that I can access at any time. So just log into the portal and I have access to the quizzes and the tests and all of this wealth of information that I think is really kind of essential to keep our skills sharp and referred to as we're moving through our service on the line. And lastly, training-wise, I completed the CDC foundational training for Public Health AmeriCorps. So this is a required training for all Public Health AmeriCorps members, and it comes straight from the Centers for Disease Control. It is a lengthier training, so I did this training in about 6 months. The way that I did it was I took 4 hours out of my service week every week for about 6 months to go off the lifeline and focus solely on these trainings. And it's really a course in public health that's just providing a public health foundation. So really like an intro to the field and all that it encompasses for newcomers to the field of public health. And then now to talk about my service experience. So what I actually do in this position, as I mentioned, I am a 988 chat and text crisis specialist, and I do this entirely remotely. So I do this from a laptop that was sent to me by my host site, Centerstone, and that laptop has access to the platform through which 988 operates its chat and text services. So it is full-time service, which means that I'm serving 40 hours a week, generally 8 hours a day. And this will come to a total of 1,700 hours, which should take about 10 months, give or take. And what's been really nice about being an AmeriCorps member at Centerstone, I found, is that I have an incredibly flexible schedule. So we are a 24/7 service, which means that shifts are available overnight and on weekends. And as an AmeriCorps member, I have really had the ability to choose my hours in whatever way works for me. So could be working overnight, could be serving a typical 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, really just whatever works, which has been a really nice perk. And to talk a little bit more about the position, so our position centers around crisis intervention. So crisis intervention is the immediate and short-term response to the psychological, emotional, physical, and behavioral distress of an individual. So we really have an emphasis on the short term as crisis specialists. We focus on ensuring a visitor's safety in the moment and thinking through ways they might be able to manage their feelings and stay safe when a crisis arises again. We obviously have an interest in the long term, but due to the nature of our position, given that we are, talking to these people through a screen, through simply chat or text, and only for 1 to 2 hours one time, and probably never speaking to them again, we are limited in what we're able, in how much of an impact we're able to have in the long term. So really, there's just a delineation there between therapy and counseling and what it is that we do as crisis specialists. So crisis is really more about the short term. And something that's really important to remember as we are serving in this position is that crisis is subjective. So this really refers to the idea that there aren't objective criteria for what a crisis is. And this just means what a crisis is to me may not be a crisis to somebody else, and vice versa. And our job as crisis specialists is not to determine whether or not somebody is in crisis, but rather to meet them where they are at and assume that if they're reaching out to us, they are likely experiencing crisis, whatever that looks like for them. So to talk a little bit about the skills that I have learned through this position and that I definitely will be carrying forth with me, active engagement is a skill that we use on the line. This really has to do with building rapport between the crisis specialist and the visitor. So it really centers around allowing a visitor to feel heard, seen, understood. And we do this through using skills of reflection. So reflecting what we've heard, reflecting the feelings that we're hearing, the content, things like that. This is a very important part of what we do because it really sets the tone for the rest of the conversation. So the more engaged and present we can be with the visitors, the more likely they are to be engaged, which is better for everyone involved. So we also have exploring the situation. This is something in which we use active engagement. So this also happens at the beginning of an interaction. And it's really just the part of the conversation where we are understanding a little bit more about exactly what is going on. So we can be more supportive for an individual if we know their story, if we know what's happening. And it's important that we allow the space for every visitor that reaches out to be able to express, because that's something that they often don't have elsewhere. And that's why they're reaching out to us. And it's also important that we acquire the details of what's going on and make sure that we understand correctly. And to do that, we need to ask questions. So the exploring the situation phase of things has to do with using clarifying questions to make sure we understand, as well as using open-ended questions to allow the visitor to really share their story in their own words. Then we have the safety assessment. So all of these skills are very, very important. But the safety assessment is perhaps the most crucial kind of aspect of what we do on the line. So this involves ensuring the immediate safety of an individual who's reaching out. And we do this with a series of questions. They are the same questions every time. And it's really important that we ask every single visitor who visits the line these very questions, even if we are talking to a third-party visitor. So somebody who's coming to us on behalf of somebody else in crisis and not necessarily experiencing crisis themselves, we must ask these questions because you never know. And so this is something that should also be done towards the beginning of an interaction for obvious reasons. We also do rescue. So we as crisis counselors ourselves are not actively rescuing anyone. However, we are mandated reporters. So this means that we are obligated to file a report and dispatch emergency services if we determine that this is necessary. And when this is necessary is when we determine through the safety assessment that an individual is at imminent risk and that their life is in imminent danger. And this is something we want to do sparingly, but it is a reality in this position. And then we have collaborative problem solving. So this is really the practice of working with an individual who reaches out to the line to understand what might best help them, what they could possibly do that suits their interests or things that have worked in the past, rather than working for them to kind of throw generic coping skills at them, hoping that one of them will stick. So it's really just the idea that there's not a one size fits all way to cope with crisis. And so it's important that we're able to collaborate and ask questions like, what has worked for you in the past? What do you think you might be able to do to really personalize the approach so that it can be as effective as possible for each person that we're speaking to? And the collaborative problem solving is a big part of the safety planning process. So safety planning is really the process of collaborating with a visitor on a plan for how they'll be able to stay safe today and manage how they're feeling, and also how they might be able to stay safe and manage how they're feeling when this crisis or these feelings or these thoughts come up again. And so that really involves thinking through coping skills, thinking through distractions, potential distractions, also thinking about who they have in their support system, who they might be able to reach out to and confide in. And it also involves providing any relevant or appropriate resources. So this could be resources for finding a provider for therapy, or finding a residential treatment program, or any number of resources that might be applicable to their situation. And it also involves ensuring that the present environment is safe and thinking about ways to make it more safe. And then we have wrapping up, which is a really essential skill. It's a big part of what we do. It can be difficult sometimes because we are talking to people who are often feeling very isolated and very alone, and they're looking for companionship and they're looking for connection. And we are able to offer that to a certain degree. But it is also important that we're able to serve as many people as possible and be supportive for as many people as possible. So it is important for us to understand when it's appropriate to wrap up and kind of best practices around wrapping up. And so those are the skills that I use every single day during my service term. And my service on the line is really what makes up the majority of my service term. So I'm doing that for pretty much 8 hours a day, every day, Monday through Friday. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the other aspects of my service term, which Celia touched on a little bit. But so on the Centerstone side of things, we have biweekly supervision groups or supervision meetings. And that's where the whole crisis team gets together with our supervisors, and we just ask any questions that may come up. We check in, we're able to connect. Supervisors are able to go over anything that they find pertinent or relevant. We're able to, they go through our interactions, and we do have audits from time to time. So this is a time when they're able to bring up anything that they see as a theme in our interactions that they feel needs to be spoken about. So it's an important time to check in. And then we also have 24/7 on-call clinical support. This is something that's been immensely helpful for me throughout my service term, and it's such an essential resource that we have access to. It's basically a team that is available 24/7 for us to reach out to just talk through anything we need to talk about. So this could be if we're not sure if we should dispatch or not. Again, this is something we want to do sparingly. So it's important for us to kind of consult on this if we're not totally sure. And also if we just have a particularly hard chat and we want to talk through it, they are there to provide that support. So that's really helpful. And then we also have bi-weekly skills building sessions. So these are optional sessions every other week led by our clinical supervisor, and they really just take a deeper dive into certain skills or topics that we will be encountering and utilizing on the line. So that could be something like child protective services, when to contact them, how to contact them, or something like best practices around anxiety or working with children on the line, things of that nature. And then on the AmeriCorps side of things, we do have our monthly member meeting. So that's when members of the Healthy Minds Alliance get together. And similar to the biweekly supervision, we can ask any questions, check in, debrief, and kind of go over anything we need or want to. And then we have ongoing training webinars as well. These are totally optional. I've found them really helpful. The last one that I did was a burnout training. So tips and tricks for preventing burnout and noticing the signs of burnout, which was very applicable to this position. And we also have our AmeriCorps specialist. So Celia talked a little bit about this. My AmeriCorps specialist is Natalie, and she's the one who interviewed me. And she's just an incredible point person. If I have any questions at all, if I need anything, she's the person I reach out to, and she's been immensely supportive. And then just to wrap up talking about life after AmeriCorps. So as I mentioned, I'm interested in pursuing further education. So hoping to pursue a PsyD program and a subsequent career in therapy. So the AmeriCorps team has made it abundantly clear that they would like to support me as much as possible in my transition from national service to future endeavors. So I will definitely be utilizing the AmeriCorps team and resources to do things like build my resume and explore job opportunities and apply this incredible experience as well as the education award toward the next steps in my educational path. And then also I'm really coming away from this experience with a newfound perspective, as is to be expected. And I think it's one that I'll carry with me for a long time. I feel that I've really enhanced my sense of patience and compassion, acceptance and sensitivity, to name a few. And my service term has really further opened my eyes to just the many harsh realities that an individual may be experiencing at a given time. And I think that the invisible nature of mental health challenges, as well as the stigma around mental health, really leads to people feeling ashamed about what they're experiencing, as well as extremely isolated and alone in their experience. And this unfortunately inhibits them from reaching out and getting the support that they need. And I think the reality is that, unfortunately, mental health challenges have likely impacted all of our lives in one way or another. And so I think the more that we are able to speak about these topics, the more that we're able to learn about these topics, the more we're able to check in on the people around us, as well as be open and vulnerable about our own experience with mental health challenges, the more we can contribute to creating a safer and more tolerable, more sensitive and accessible space for people to express and connect and reach out and get the help that they need. So Just a friendly reminder to check in on those around you, and easier said than done, certainly, but do reach out if you need support, because we are all in this together and it is absolutely out there for you. And that's all. Thank you so much. I am here to answer any questions that anyone has, and I appreciate you all listening.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Thank you, Celia. We are so grateful to have had Health 360 present with us today. There was a lot of awesome information. At this time, we would love if you would continue to join us for any questions from our audience. Please remember to ask your questions in the Q&A box, as questions might get lost in the chat. I know that questions were coming in during the presentation and we've done a pretty good job of keeping up with them. But if you have any questions now for us or for our guests, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A box, and we can start with questions for those for those questions for Health 360, and then answer any other questions about the application or other service opportunities afterwards. So I'm looking at the Q&A chat right now. And the first question I'm seeing is, will we be able to get more information about the Health Forward track?
Yes, that's a great question. Health Forward is actually another AmeriCorps program that Health 360 manages. It's a state-based program in Connecticut, full-time, in-person, really engaging young people who are interested in pursuing health professions. You can go directly to our website, www.health360.org, to find more information, and I can pop that specific page in the chat too.
Thank you for that. Another question I'm seeing, is a background or degree in mental health necessary to participate in Health 360?
No, I think the great thing about this program is that the site requirements really vary across the crisis call centers. So you could be interviewing with a crisis call center that's looking for someone with a high school diploma, maybe with a year of customer service experience, and all the way through a master's degree. So what we do is try to just really match up our AmeriCorps applicants with the appropriate crisis call center. So we encourage everyone to apply.
Awesome. And speaking of applications, is there a particular deadline, or might that depend on the site and location?
There is no deadline. We go through a similar process with the crisis call centers, where we have an open host site application. So we have new crisis call centers continuously coming on board, and we're really just actively trying to fill those open AmeriCorps member slots. So really a continuous AmeriCorps applicant recruitment process on our end.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I'm seeing lots of questions come in. I think we'll go ahead and take one more, and then we will do our best to get answers to the rest of these questions in the follow-up email that will be sent out to all registrants. That will also include a recording of this call and the slideshow as well. The final question will be, is there a track that closely aligns with social work?
Yeah, I think I popped in the Q&A earlier. If the crisis call center placement isn't necessarily something that you might be interested in, but you still want to pursue the mental health field, our legacy program is also an opportunity. You can check that out on the page that I put in the chat. Still mental health experience, but really with an eye towards mental health community education.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think that is all the time we have for questions today. So thank you again, Lucy, Cecilia, and Health 360. For those of you who would like to stay on, we'll be providing some more information about upcoming opportunities to learn more about different AmeriCorps service opportunities. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Courtney to go through that quickly. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for joining us today and for your interest in being a part of the solution through service. We appreciate you taking the time to learn more about AmeriCorps and beginning your journey of national service. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at AmeriCorps. If you're interested in a specific program, please join us for one of our upcoming webinars for more information. Both our NCCC and VISTA programs offer webinars specific to their programs and upcoming opportunities. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to us at join@americorps.gov or explore our website. Please also take a few moments to fill out our survey, which will appear at the end of this event after you close out of the webinar. This will help us deliver more relevant and useful content in future sessions. The survey should only take a few minutes to complete and includes the option to request some one-on-one follow-up information from our team. Thank you again for joining us today. Thank you so much, Lucy and Celia, for being here with us. We appreciate you all and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.